y'all. Welcome to Jackalope Tales, Urban Legends and Music, where we uncover, is it real or is it a jackalope tale? I'm your host, Charles Mooney.
And I'm Lisa Umbarger. And Charles and I are the original members of the Toadies. And now we're podcasting.
We are. We got things to say.
So many things. So today we're going to talk about some people you might not know.
Mm-hmm.
It's two women who influenced some pretty important songs, musicians, and actually affected the life of at least one person.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So
it's going to be an interesting one.
Yeah.
Because we're going to enlighten some people today.
right.
I know I was.
I mean, I think it's really cool to see what the muse is for a song.
Yeah.
To peel back the curtains and go, okay, what made you think of this song?
Right.
What made you write that? Who influenced you?
Oh, I know. A lot of artists don't really ever say what the influence was. It's just something personal.
Right.
But then it's like, oh, now it all makes sense.
Right.
A little insight into the psyche of the writer.
Right. I think pretty much every Toadies song is about someone.
True. Yeah.
Yeah. And we're not going to name names and say, well, I mean, Mr.
No.
Love is a hilarious one.
Yes.
Because there was a band, Pop Poppins,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yep.
William P. Love.
Uh-huh. He was the inspiration for that one.
Right.
Now, of the dark aspect of the songs on Rubberneck, that was right after Todd's divorce.
Right.
So that's where everything kind of started really getting dark because we just sang about digging holes.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, we're singing about
dismemberment.
Yeah. Stalking.
Yeah.
Drinking beer out of someone else's fridge.
Right.
Oh, it was. Yeah.
Right. And but there's one particular person, and Charles and I were talking about this. I don't even remember her name.
No.
Not that we would say it anyway if we did.
Yeah.
But she was into a lot of pagan, strange
Yeah.
rituals.
That's why I probably don't remember the name because it was almost like you kind of were hands off.
Right. She was a little off-putting.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think paganism is. I mean, to me, I find it fascinating. But she was dark.
Yeah. I just remember, I think she came to a few practices and just kind of being there.
Right.
Just
She would have been Slytherin in Harry Potter. She was very Slytherin.
Mm-hmm.
Where we're more like Gryffindor or Hufflepuff.
Oh. See, I know. We'd just be laughing, cracking jokes and doing all this stuff.
Right.
And then she's over there.
Yeah, like potions and whatnot.
Yeah, like stacking stones and all this stuff. It's like.
Yeah. And she loved fire.
Ah.
And the ritual of fire.
Yep.
And I burn.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit of Possum Kingdom.
Yeah. There was that influence there.
And there was another song. Now I can't remember the name of that she influenced.
Oh.
But any of the ones that are darker from that period were kind of influenced by her belief system.
Yeah. And of course, Todd grew up Southern Baptist. So talk about 180.
Right. It was fascinating.
Completely.
Yeah, it was fascinating to him too, listening to, what she believed in the worship of fire and the elements and
It always made me want to go to Todd's apartment and check on Fred, his dog.
His dog.
Just to
I know, right?
Sure.
Make sure he's doing a wellness check.
Yeah. A wiener wellness check. Luckily, he was okay.
Later. So I have an interesting one who's pretty famous. Her name is Kathy Smith.
See? Just kind of a generic name. Doesn't mean anything.
Doesn't mean anything until I tell you the reason why she's famous, most famous, is she's associated with John Belushi's death.
Wow.
Right. So most people, they'll go, oh, yeah, now I do remember that because it was in all the newspapers.
Oh, and I remember him passing.
Right.
Oh,
and that,
yeah.
I mean, people were mad because he was, he was SNL back then.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I know there were huge names back then, but he was who you tuned in for because he was such a wild card. You didn't know if something... You didn't know what was going to happen. It was like Robin Williams shows up and there's improv and it's crazy.
Yeah, that's a good
lots
analogy.
Of sweat.
Yeah.
So that's her. So let's jump in. Let's paint the picture of Kathy Smith.
Okay.
She spent a long time jumping from musician to musician and breaking many hearts. So she must have been good at something.
Yeah.
Because they all were pretty sad when she left.
Oh, wow.
And so most of the songs that they wrote about her are her leaving, and they're sad.
Leaving trails of tears.
So she first dated Levon Helm from the band.
Yeah.
And she was also a backup singer for the band.
Oh.
Yeah. So she is actually a talented vocalist as well.
Okay.
And for the band, she influenced these songs, inspired these songs. Short Fat Fanny, The Weight, which is...
What?
The song The Weight is such a good song.
Oh, that's like the band song.
Right. And allegedly Chest Fever, where the band would change the words up a little bit each time. And Annie was a nickname that they gave her.
Oh.
And so whenever you hear Annie, that's her. Yeah.
Okay.
So, anyway, so she left Levon and moved on to inspire one of my favorite Gordon Lightfoot songs, Sundown. Do you know that song?
I love that song.
Such a good song.
Oh, it just has so much emotion reeking out of it.
Right.
Yeah.
But then I read the words. I mean, I would always sing the words, but then I read the words and it really sunk in what the song's about. And it's kind of hardcore, man.
Wow.
He was going through some stuff.
Isn't it like creeping down my back stair or something?
Yeah.
And it's kind of like Possum or
Right. I always
Tyler.
thought it was kind of like a dude fight in my head.
Okay, yeah.
But, Gordon Lightfoot and Kathy had a very complicated, violent relationship where it got physical. He allegedly broke her jaw at one time. So they were, very physical.
Wow.
And you know, I hate to think that about him because his songs seem so opposite that. Right? To me. And until I read the words of Sundown back and I was like, oh, fuck, he really is that guy. Anyway,
yeah.
So Lightfoot says that he wrote the song while Smith was out at a bar and he was wondering what she was up to.
Huh.
Yeah, he was worried. Well, she sounds like she gets around anyway a little bit.
Okay.
And he didn't trust her. She was at the bar and he wrote Sundown.
These musicians really did get sucked in by her.
Right?
God.
Cut it loose. Let's go.
Yeah.
So after leaving Gordon, she moved to California where she allegedly became a drug dealer to the stars. Most famously, the Rolling Stones.
Oh, really?
Right.
Okay.
And she would hang out at all of the Hollywood parties and be the person who delivered the drugs. But she also did some backing vocals for, do you remember, what is it? Hoyt Axton. Do you remember that guy?
I know the name.
He was an actor. But he also was a singer and he wrote a bunch of songs.
Oh.
So he wrote Joy to the World.
Oh, well, okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Everyone knows that song.
Joy to the Fishies in the Deep Blue Sea.
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
So she was backing vocals for him when he did live shows and records and stuff. So she was still, dipping her toe in the music world, but she was mostly full-time drug dealer back then.
Wow.
So
singing was her side deal.
Yes. Yeah, singing was a side gig back then.
Wow.
And I'm sure she was doing pretty good with the drug hustle in LA at the time.
Oh.
The 70s.
So prevalent.
Holy cow, man.
Oh, yeah.
So the Rolling Stones introduced, actually, I take that back. It was the band. The band played SNL.
Okay.
And I guess she was still on good terms with the band because
Uh-huh.
she showed up while they were recording SNL,
Right.
and they introduced her to John Belushi,
Whoa.
and
Oh,
she became
no.
John Belushi's drug dealer.
Oh, okay. Got
Right.
it. Got it.
And so he showed up in LA. She actually is the one who shot him up
Oh, no.
with the drugs.
Really?
Right.
Oh,
Yeah.
damn.
So, yeah, it was a crazy cocktail of cocaine and heroin. Yeah.
Oh,
And on March 1982, John Belushi passed away.
wow.
And she was very, very adamant about it and honest and forthcoming, going, I did it. And I don't know why she would do that. She was like, I don't know if it's ego or guilt or whatever, but she told all the tabloids and news and everyone, she's like, yeah, I shot him up.
Wow.
And I'm the one who delivered the blow.
Wow. Did they prosecute her?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, they
Okay.
did. And you know what? If she didn't say anything, maybe this is part of her penance. You know, she's like,
Huh.
I think maybe she might have had some guilt at the time.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing she was probably using as well.
Right.
That would be my guess.
Right.
So she would eventually serve 15 months in jail, which to
okay.
me doesn't seem like very long
I
for
mean,
admitting to actually murdering someone.
I know.
Even if it's unintentional. Isn't manslaughter more than 15 months?
Oh, gosh. Yeah.
That's what I thought. So I'm
Yeah.
not sure what the charges were, but I remember that on all the news shows, they were covering her trial. Do you remember this? They had pictures of her
Yeah.
sitting at the table during her sentencing.
Right.
And there were reporters out talking about, whatever evidence was delivered.
Yeah.
Because it was, a huge star at the time
Right.
that was taken. So
Yeah.
it was pretty much tabloid fodder at the time. Do
Ah.
you remember that at all?
Vaguely, I do. You would think they'd have been, I mean, just because it was John Belushi, you'd think they'd be way more severe than 15 months.
Yeah, that's what I would think too. So I'm not sure how
I mean,
that sentence
yeah,
came
15
about,
months
but-
is jaywalking.
I know, right?
Not for
Like, I got caught with a joint in my ashtray. So she served 15 months.
Yeah.
And when she was released in 1988,
Yeah.
she was deported back to Canada, and she basically wandered off into obscurity.
Whoa.
She passed away 2018, I believe.
Oh.
And it was big news then. And, the reoccurring news story of this is the person who was sentenced for them.
Oh, to be known as the
Belushi's
one
death.
that OD'd
Right.
John Belushi.
But she was super, super quiet. And
Yeah.
as far as I know, never went back into music, just kind of faded away into obscurity.
Wow.
Canada.
Dang. That's wild. Man. Well, see, I know it's sad you're known for killing such a great comic.
I know, right?
And it's like, that's what I'm known for.
And destroying poor Gordon Lightfoot's heart.
Oh, God. That'd make me want to move to Canada. I couldn't live with myself.
Poor guy.
Now, the one I'm talking about, it's a lady named Cynthia Albritton.
I do not know who this is at all.
I know you don't know her by that name, but she was a American visual artist and self-described recovering groupie. So,
Recovering groupie.
Yeah, because when she was young and getting up in her teenage years and things, it was late 60s, so free love, all that stuff, and she just got into that, and she was heavily influenced by music.
Okay.
She just it was like us. I mean, I've had music in my life forever.
And all the good bands were touring.
Oh, yes.
Right?
Yep, exactly. Now, she grew up in Chicago, and she started trying to be kind of like a groupie because she just wanted to be around the musicians who just gave her that feeling of like, oh, I love music. And so she would go to after parties and things like that. And then she realized that there are so many groupies out there. And as she would say, so many that looked better than her. She needed an edge.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm scared to say what.
Well,
what is it?
When she was going to college, and she is an art student.
Okay.
And the teacher gave them a assignment. When he gave the assignment, it was to plaster cast something solid that could retain its shape. And so she came up with the idea of casting erect male dicks, which would then go limp and exit the mold. So she and so being an artist and loving music, she realized that that was her in to being kind of different from all the other women that were there.
This is
so yeah.
Okay.
So
I have
she
questions.
became known as Cynthia Plaster Caster. And it was a project because Cynthia discovered a dental mold making substance called alginate.
Yep.
That worked the best. She tested all this different stuff. She tested it on a couple male friends just to make
She's
sure.
like, hey, can I borrow your dick for a minute?
Exactly.
Really?
And then working on the mixture and everything like that.
Do you want to be the guinea pig in this? Like, for real?
I would be really nervous too.
Because some kind of plasters, I don't know if you know about plaster.
No.
Mold making.
Yeah.
Sometimes they heat up as they cure.
Oh, no.
Like get really warm. So can you imagine?
I don't know. That sounds kind of exciting.
It would melt your balls off hot.
Holy
yeah, you would have
cow.
burns. You get your dick out and it's like got third degree burns on it. What the hell, man?
Oh, hell. And it's like your dick falls into the plaster. I didn't realize there was that much risk involved.
Yeah.
Well.
And what about if your dick can't breathe?
It's like your eyeball, if it goes without moisture or air for more than 30 seconds, it dries up. Well, you can always blame the size on, I stuck it in plaster.
So, does it say what her teacher thought about her project?
No, they didn't really talk about that because
she
I'm
got
sure
thrown out
she
of school?
did. Yeah, right. No kidding. Well, she figured out the whole mixture thing, and she actually had assistants that went with her on these things.
What?
One was a plater. She was the mixer, and another girl that counted the scoops, kept the time, and would clean and fill containers.
Okay, this is a way to get all your girls to come with you.
Oh,
so like, yeah, I got to have my crew with me. It's like,
we work as a
coming.
team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get me and my friends in backstage. Oh, come on, man.
So yeah, they ended up. They would put the plaster into a martini shaker, and then
what if they're bigger than that?
Well, we're about to get into that here. Yeah. So just so happened that Jimi Hendrix was touring through Chicago in 1968, and she approached him, and Jimmy became her first official subject. So,
talking about starting at the top.
I know, no kidding. And it's like, I mean, she was able to get there with Jimmy because she told him what she did, and Jimmy was all about it.
He's like, I'll put my dick in that plaster. Yeah.
Now, Cynthia has said that Hendrix was, in fact, her favorite musician to cast because he was the most laid back about the whole ordeal.
I thought she was going to say because he was wiggly.
Well, he was so big, they couldn't use the martini shaker. They used a vase for the casting.
What the heck?
And when they did it, Jimmy's pubic hair even got stuck in the mold.
Okay, because that was going to be my next question for real.
Yeah, and then once the mold hardened, and I mean, they said he was hard the whole time. Once it hardened, he then even began to fuck the mold. So he was like into this. So, and
I'm trying to get a picture in my head of this guy, laid back guy, with a vase on his junk.
Yeah. Oh, I know.
And then,
and she said he wasn't panicking. He wasn't. There was everything
he fell
was
in
good.
love
He was
with the
just
vase.
chill. I know.
He's like, I'm gonna have baby vases.
He balled the vase. I know. So, but now the interesting thing about this too is she ended up doing like over 50 musicians, and some of them would succeed, some would fail, because it's like the plaster didn't dry correctly, because it's not like the most scientific environment,
right?
But to tell you some of the other people she has done.
Yeah, I want to know.
Wayne Kramer and Dennis Thompson of MC5.
What?
Eric Burden of the Animals.
Okay.
Tony Stevens of Foghat. Drummer.
I met him, and if I'd noticed, I could say, dude, I saw your dick mold.
See, you didn't miss
Or like
out.
shown up and go, hey, I got this plaster. And I hear you do this.
See? And
whip it out, dude.
I know. Drummer Ainsley Dunbar, who drummed for the Frank Zappa's Mother of Inventions and Journey. Pete Shelley of the Buzzcocks.
What?
Now get this. I thought this was more like early day kind of 60s, 70s musicians. Yeah. She has done it to Jello Biafra.
What?
Yes. She's done it to Martin Atkins, the drummer for Ministry, PIL, Killing Joke, and Nine Inch Nails. She has done it for David Yao.
What?
Jesus Lizard. Yes. And so she's done all those. She's passed away. Her molds have been in art exhibits, things like that.
Is there a coffee table book? Because that would be really awesome.
Wouldn't it be fascinating with the stories behind each one?
Oh my God, yeah.
But I'd only look at the pictures.
Yeah, definitely. And like check it real close for pubic hairs, because that's what I was. So is it just the penis, or does it have the balls?
Actually, she said with Hendrix there was some little ball impression on it. So, but
because he's banging it.
Oh yeah. Now it's funny though, because here's the tie-in. These are the songs that she inspired. Jim Croce wrote a song called 5 Short Minutes. And I know when I told you that, and you were like, Jim Croce?
Right.
No, he never had his done. It was a song just about her. And then...
Did he know her?
I don't know.
Because, I mean...
she was getting famous just as for what she did. I mean, it was around the music world where these musicians were almost like, I hope Cynthia Plastercaster shows up for me.
I wonder why my parents never talked to me about it. Because they always influenced my music, and they were like, hey, I have this coffee table book for you to look at, young, impressionable Lisa. Yeah. Like, they hand me this coffee table book. They hand me all these records, and I don't know anything about all the other groupies and
stuff. Right. And now this is a funny one, because Kiss, Gene Simmons wrote a song called Plaster Caster. And the funny thing about that one is he was never done either.
I bet you he wanted to be, though.
Bingo. He wrote the song because it was his attempt to be done by her. But she never did Gene Simmons because she said that she only does it with artists of the music that she likes, or that really touches her. Exactly. Now, what's even funnier is Gene Simmons gets turned down, and he's a dick. I mean, he's just egotistical. She did a few interesting molds too. So
did she do Ace? Because that would be hilarious.
Oh, wouldn't that have been?
She's like, yeah, not him, but Ace.
No, she didn't do any members of Kiss.
Okay, what are the
But she did Doug Dillard, a banjo player from the band The Dillards. She did Fritz Richmond, the wash tub bass player with the Jim Queskin Jug Band.
What? So she started going around the state fair circuit.
And this is like the epitome of a slap to Gene Simmons.
Bob Barker.
No. That would have been good. Ivan Karamazov, a juggler with the Flying Karamazov brothers. So Gene Simmons gets turned down and she does a fucking juggler.
A juggler
and a jug band and a banjo player. It's like, fuck you, Gene Simmons.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. So.
Okay, so did you look at any pictures while you were researching this?
Yes. Jimi Hendrix is very girthy. It's very big.
With like a baby arm?
It's a baby leg.
All right, I'm gonna have to look these up now.
Now
the tiniest?
Well, here's one you got to look up because she said that she did the whole thing with Jimi Hendrix, Noel Redding, who was the bass player. He wanted it done to him next, and he did it, and his penis looks like it's curving. I don't know if he's
maybe it started.
I don't know if he's gonna blame it on the mold or
it was cold,
but it's
the mold.
It was a cold mold. He definitely didn't need the vase. So,
oh no.
But it's a weird one. The curvature is strange. So, but yeah, you can actually Google Cynthia's plaster cast and see some of them.
So, okay, this is going to be a weird question, but I'm going to ask it anyway because
of course
I'm good at that. So, should any of the guys not had so much self-confidence to have were you looking at it and going, why did you volunteer for this?
Yeah.
With your little
it's
Vienna sausage.
Right. No, some of them definitely were not a boasting size, but I guess it was just the fact that they could be one of the ones done in plaster.
See, I think that's cool because it's not the size, it's the motion of the ocean, right? Where did we learn that? Showgirls? I don't know. I mean, it's like the philosophy of showgirls.
I've always thought it's the slide of the stream, but okay.
Yeah. Okay. Something islands in the stream. I don't know. So I think that's cool that they're going, yeah, I'll do this. And it's not just everyone who's like all pumped up and
yeah. And what's really cool too is that in her last few years, she started doing women's breasts. She did Karen O of the Yeahs.
Yeah.
The lead singer of the Macans or the Mackans. But she did a small handful of those.
I wish she'd done
she branched
bums.
out.
Don't you think it would have been good to do butts?
Oh my God. And then you'd have all your ass hair removed after they pull the plaster off. You'd be as smooth as a baby.
Right. She should have done butts. Because
what would you use?
Like you could make a fruit vase.
Walk in with a big barrel.
you have like a tub, like a shallow tub, and you put in the stuff and you say, just sit in this. And you sit down and she's like, hands you a magazine. Here's People magazine. You can read like who's the hottest guy is.
And there's no pressure about staying hard for long enough.
It's just your bum. Yeah. And then you sell a famous bum as a fruit vase for your kitchen. And you're like, I don't know if you saw this, but this is Typo Negative's bum. and the lemons and the avocados you're eating out of that are from his bum base.
And then you could have different size bums depending on how much fruit you need to serve.
Exactly. Like a salad bowl.
Yeah.
Look at this
tight, and the banana could be stuck right in the middle.
Look at the sweet little tight Iggy Pop salad bowl.
It's just a flat plate. Poor Iggy. Aw.
I think that's a really freaking cool story.
It really was wild. I mean, talk about someone thinking outside the box to be the one to
Outside
get in.
the vase.
Outside, yes.
It's cool because she didn't do any damage. She didn't seem
No.
like I have an unsavory feeling of groupies, right?
Yeah.
And feeling an opinion of them.
Yeah.
And it sounds like she made it fun and cool.
Yeah. And they say she was really just a very sweet person and just happened to do something that
she got to do something and bring her friends to look at guys' dicks.
Oh my God.
She's like, nothing's going to happen. We're just going to look at some dicks.
Yeah. And then you just have them around the room as you listen to their music.
Oh, see,
that's
crazy. Pretty
isn't it?
Cool.
I know. So, I don't know.
Like, if you could get that on a T-shirt, David Yowles, and wear it to a show on the 31st when they're in town.
I know. Now
and I wonder if he would say something and recognize it.
Oh,
like he shows that you're at front, you're up there, front row, and he looks down and he's like, "Is that my wiener?" That would be great.
You would get his attention. Yeah, I think that'd be funny.
Instead of wearing the band shirts, you wear their dicks on your shirt
and just boom the picture.
Right.
So it's a big size.
My God, that's awesome.
Great story, though.
I love it. You know what goes good with groupies? Kazoos. There's not very many groupies for kazoo players.
Yeah, no.
There should be more.
Yeah, I know. There's that stigma against kazoo players.
Right. And, well, I mean, I think it's
But they do vibrate their lips real well.
Right. And I think it's because they hang out at amusement parks. And you can't have them hanging around children. But yeah,
it's a strange talent, those kazoo players.
So we're at the part of the show we call the Lone Star Salute.
Lone Star Salute. 1-star time.
Yep. 1-star reviews of musicians, albums, venues, anything to do with music or cross adjacent to music.
People need to express their negative feelings, get it out of themselves.
Yep.
So this is the best outlet for them.
Yep.
So,
well, I have one.
Oh,
I found a funny one. Well, it's not actually. It's not funny. Ha ha. It's funny.
That can be funny. Ha,
yep.
ha. Okay.
Gordon Lightfoot concert of Calgary. So he was in Canada, and I'm pretty sure Gordon Lightfoot's Canadian.
Okay.
He is very old at this time, about the end of days for him.
Yeah.
And he's touring.
Okay.
And this person who was anonymous felt kind of sorry for him.
Okay.
And this is what they said. Not only did we fear that Gordon Lightfoot might pass out on stage, but of course, his voice was gone for most of the time. He shared that he had almost passed out that afternoon, and he is frail, to say the least. Not only is this a huge exploitation of someone who at one time was an extraordinary talent, but very unfair to the people who paid to see a legend. Although many people seemed to be happy just to be there in the room with him, it was very disappointing and quite frankly very sad to see him trying to perform in such a weak state. We thought he might die. Can you imagine?
I'd pay to see that.
In a show, and you're like really going, oh my God, are we going to see the end of this guy?
Oh my God. He must have just been so out of it, incoherent.
I saw some shows at the end of his career where he was very frail looking. And I don't know if it's management or, who was pushing him out there to do this. He did struggle through some songs and did not sound like Gordon Lightfoot.
When you get in that shape, just stop.
Stay at the old folks' home.
Yes.
And play, whatever with the piano and
just sing during lunch in the little cafeteria.
Right. During the puppet shows.
Or when they're selling insurance at the old folks'
While you're eating your Jell-O. Like change the words to Jello.
Oh, makes me now.
Anyway, what do you have?
Well, I have got a review of the Kiss album, Love Gun, which was the one that had the song Plaster Caster on it. And I really liked Kiss when I was a kid. I mean, good God, I was in 1977, I was 9 years old, and it's like some fuckers that throw on makeup and breathe fire and spit blood. 9-year-olds are going to love it. And
they're like the Transformers for kids now.
Yeah, right? Now that I've developed music taste and I look back, it's so pathetic, some of the double entendres they would do, because Kiss was all about double entendres, about sex and the lyrics. And I think of myself being 9 going around the house singing, my baby's a 2-timer. And I mean, it's like, or Ladies Room.
Oh my God,
it's like, God. But anyway,
get up.
There seems to be this whole a group where the first 5 Kiss albums are like the Kiss for people, and Love Gun is the 6th. People, there's that group that says the first 5 albums, after that they suck.
Which were you?
You know what? I've really, I don't even listen to them much anymore. There's that little flutter in my heart I feel whenever I see like old footage of them, because it used to be even hard to find footage of them back in the old day. Because
what's your favorite Kiss song?
It would probably have to be Strutter.
It's a good one.
It was just one of those, because I think that's the first song on their first album.
Yep, it's a good song.
But
okay, so let's hear about Love Gun.
Yeah. So this reviewer said the first 6 Kiss albums are the only legit Kiss albums. Love Gun is schlock, pure and simple. This album is a face first belly flop into the cheesy sleaze rock category. No place for hiding, baby. No place to run. You pull the trigger of my love gun. Nice. That's some rock and roll poetry for you, huh? Kiss was done by 1977. Fact.
Whoa.
And I remember the Love Gun album had a little gun, paper gun in there that you could get. Because that was another thing that was big, all the inserts and all the stuff.
I thought that was the coolest part of albums.
Oh, all this extras. Because, I mean, before you even listen to the album, you're like, whoa, what extra stuff did I get in here? Posters?
I got an ELO album that had this, it was a paper, it was, kind of like cardstocky.
Yeah.
Spaceship that you could build.
What?
Yeah. It was freaking cool. And I thought that was the best thing ever.
No joke.
Yeah, and I built it. I wish I had not done anything with it, saved it. But of course, you're a kid and you're like, yeah, this is so cool. And I had an ELO like spaceship thing.
Oh. But see, and then Kiss Alive 2 had tattoos, a booklet. I mean, they just threw all the shit together. And of course, it pissed me off when I first became a Kiss fan, because I bought 8-track tapes.
Oh, yeah.
And you don't get shit with an 8-track tape. So
I think I pretty much always bought the albums until I bought CDs.
Oh, you lucky dog.
But I got the other one that was my favorite, and I loved it. And then it disappeared because the parents took it down. Queen Bicycle Race.
Oh,
and I had it on my wall. And it was like all of these asses, or bare asses in Bicycle Race. And it was long. It was like it unfolded out and it was long.
Yeah.
And it was just like this long panoramic asses on bicycles. And I thought it was the coolest poster. And I remember my dad came in and he's like, what is that? And I was like, that's from the Queen album that we just bought at whatever at Albertsons.
It was Jazz, the album. Jazz.
Yeah, because I bought it at a grocery store.
Oh, yeah.
That's when they sold
albums
at grocery stores. And And he was like, the one we just got at Albertsons or whatever we bought it. And I was like, yeah. And and he was looking at it and he was like, why is it up there? And I was like, because I like it. And he was like, and he just kind of walked out. And then I see my mom come into my room and she looks at it. My dad's behind her with his arms crossed. And she looks at it and she's like, what is that? I was like, it's a poster. And next thing I know, it's gone. I got leave to go do something. And I was like, hey, where's that poster? And they're like, I don't know. So what I'm trying to tell you is my parents were liars.
Oh God!
And I was like, I know you guys took it. I don't know. What happened.
It just came off the wall.
I think you're making stuff up.
Oh crap!
But I wish I had that too.
Oh my God!
Dang it, man!
Such a great story behind it.
It was a horrible, horrible poster when I think about it in my head because it was 1970s butts.
Oh yeah,
or 1980
topless women riding bicycles.
Like 79 or something. But it was all.
I love that you just didn't even think about it and just hung it on the wall.
I'm like, it's okay. It's in an album. It should be okay, right?
Your room became the home of Satan.
Like, why are you? And it was right next to like Starsky and Hutch posters, whatever. It was like asses for days. Anyway, hey, that was good. That was my happy ending. My Queen poster.
Yeah, all those asses lined up. That's just the best.
I mean,
it wasn't a happy ending though. The poster went away.
So many endings, like a whole panoramic ending. Oh Lord!
This big blank space on your wall.
Eric.
It's HR puffin stuff.
Yeah.
Poster in place of it.
Man, it sucked. I want that now, and they don't understand when I would tell them that stuff could be worth money later with the tack prints in it. Anyway, so I guess we should remind everyone you should probably do stuff that people want to write about.
Yeah,
do stuff out in the world. Like, I don't know.
Think outside the vase.
Right.
Yeah.
Make plaster butt things. Do butt things. Do a bunch of butt stuff. Go out in the world and do butt stuff.
Store your fruit and
so much butt stuff. And try and get immortalized in a song or write one yourself about someone.
See?
Right?
Yes, there you go.
Freaking write some songs.
Just record it yourself, post it. There you go.
Butt plaster, or whatever it is that you're going to do. Write a song about. Write a song about us. Do a Jackalope song.
Oh, God.
We want to be immortalized.
Yeah, right.
In that way.
Write a butt poster song.
Butt poster. Oh, my God. Yes.
Butt imposter.
I'm going to have to do that. Write a song about my parents. How they broke my heart and took my poster.
Freeform jazz.
Anyway, so these that we talked about today are not Jackalope Tales.
No.
These are like real.
These are real things
well-documented
we talk about.
Things.
Yeah. There's been all this support for it, so we can believe these.
Yep. So these are tried and true. So we're going to have to ask you to go out and do some Jackalope Tales for us.
Yeah.
Make some butt plaster stuff and
we'll keep hunting for stuff and let you all determine, is it real or is it a Jackalope tale?
Right. So thank you for listening. We really appreciate everybody. Please follow us on all the socials and follow the links in our show notes.
Yeah, definitely. Like, subscribe, rate, leave us a review on Apple Podcasts, anywhere you get your podcast, videos on YouTube.
Send us a text.
Send us a text, and Lisa and I will answer.
Right.
Because we're the only ones doing this.
Right. We're the only ones. And please join us next time as we ask, is it real or is it a jackalope tale?
Jackalope. Can you make a butt noise?
Why are butt noises always funny?
That is the best.
Like, this is the best one.
That is queso right there. That's a queso cast.
Today's episode is brought to you by Vintage Alternative. Join Ryan Hamilton in a journey through alternative, grunge, and all things 90s. You can find Vintage Alternative on YouTube at Vintage Alternative.